Coming up, He-Man is back, but does he have the power? Join us as we dissect Masters of the Universe. Stay tuned. Welcome to The Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment, and we are your hosts, Arturo Padilla, along with Mr. Nick Valdez. Tex, how you doing today, buddy? What's up?
Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Arturo. Masters of the Universe. Boy, this is the first He-Man movie in decades, and I gotta say right off the bat, it's a lot better than you think it'd be, right? I think I was very surprised because it's not tracking well in theaters. Unfortunately, it's not getting the most attention. It's based on a toy franchise from the 80s turned cartoon, and that you would think that the nostalgia for that is kind of faded. It's been in development for forever. It's finally come to screens. Travis Knight, who's directed Bumblebee, who formed Leica, that stop motion studio with Paranorman and Coraline, and who directed Kubo and the Two Strings, one of the best animated films of all time, has directed Masters of the Universe, and it's kind of rad. I can't lie. I don't know. It's just a lot better than you would think, right, Arturo?
Yes, I walked into this thing with honestly no expectations. It's an Amazon movie. We don't know if they decided to throw it in the theaters last minute, if it was originally slated for VOD. We have no idea. But we walked in and I came out a little tired because it's long, but
yes,
dude, super surprised and impressed at how put together everything was and how good everything looked. There were some CGI things here and there, but for the most part, I was just really impressed with the whole execution of this movie, dude. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I didn't expect it to look as good as it did either. And dude, I really dug it, man. I really liked it. I loved the character designs. They stayed super, super true to the detail of the actual action figures. You got the colors that pop. You got the awesome character accessories as well. It was fun. And for a person like myself who's washed in his 40s, this was actually everything I needed.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to say that off the bat too, right? It's we are straight up in that target demo. We are older gentlemen in our late 30s and early 40s, and that's pretty much the He-Man fandom. I think outside of maybe 5 more years, 6 more years tops of growing up in the peak of the He-Man filmation, animation, cartoon era. And now it's how do you even tackle this, right? And Travis Knight as a director has already kind of done that with Transformers and Bumblebee. If you remember Bumblebee, one of the biggest things that Transformers fans, basically in the same generation as He-Man, maybe a couple years off or whatever if you dig into it, but they remember that first opening scene of the full animated Cybertron, and it looked exactly like the animated series. And so Masters of the Universe is kind of an extension of that. It's straight up the He-Man cartoon brought to live action. And like Arturo said, outside of a couple of funky CG green screen areas, it looks really good. And I think it's because there's so much attention to detail in how everything was put together and brought to life, and the character designs too. Just off the bat, Skeletor, we're gonna get into how well each of the characters do, but Skeletor looks good. The skull face that they do, I don't know if it's Jared Leto actually doing this performance and they kind of CG'd over him, or if it's a stunt actor. I don't know if the extent, but it looks good when you see the skull face in motion. It never it looks good. I think the costuming too just looks great. These characters look exactly like how you'd want him to look, Idris Elba, Man at Arms. He's got a big bulky suit, but it looks good. I don't know how like how else to kind of express that, right?
Yeah, they definitely spent a lot of time being super meticulous about the character
Yeah.
designs because they could have gone anywhere with it, right? But
Yes.
because Mattel is in this resurgence era, especially with Barbie, a couple of years back, they definitely wanted to just bring the action figures to life, and that's exactly what they did, man.
Yeah.
And
It really is.
the only real gripe I have to say is that He-Man isn't as buff as he is in his action figures. So I think that can be worked on. I am kind of glad that they didn't put any like over bulging CG muscles on him because that would have been super apparent, especially because there was a lot of CG already. I'm glad that they made that choice because even I went on record here on the morgue when we were talking about the trailer several weeks ago that I wish they would have added some kind of CG bulk to him because he did look a little small for He-Man. But honestly, based on the whole entirety of this movie, I think it's okay for now. If we are going forward with more He-Man in the future, I definitely think he needs to bulk it up just a little bit. He's not the biggest person on screen. He does get overshadowed by other people around him who have a lot more.
Yeah.
Even Skeletor himself, sexy Skeletor, is like all decked out and just full of pump. And I think that was the way to go with Skeletor. So I think they wanted to just emphasize the fact that Adam was the smallest of his peers, especially when he was growing up in Eternia as a little kid. In the beginning of the movie, they show all that he's trying to train, but he's too small, and everybody like kind of picks on him because of that. So I think they were leaning a little bit on that, but I do wish that because he gained that power of Great Skull, I do wish that Great Skull gave him a little bit more pump. but
Yeah.
but that's just a little gripe text. But other than that, man, I think the look of everything is definitely on point, but we needed a little bit more muscle off our protagonist there.
Yeah, like there's a bit of that, like when he transforms for the first time, and Nicholas Galitzine, like he, they dress him down in like this outfit to kind of like bulkier shirt to kind of hide his frame because
Mhm.
they can't buff him up afterwards, right? Like because he has to show off the full physique when he's full
Yeah.
He-Man mode, right? And they kind of do it a little bit when he transforms. There's like this full Sailor Moon kind of sequence he gets when he does it for the first time, where he's like seeing his arms kind of get bigger and you see little veins popping out. It's cool in the moment. You're like, but then you're like, oh, this is just a regular human guy. And it's tough because you can't, you look at the cartoons, and the He-Man action figure, even the Adam action figure, if you remember, it's
He's
just like
huge.
yeah, he's just a monster of a man. Like they were built to be like kind of squat guys. This is
Yeah.
why, like, just getting nerdy about figures, like this is why they kind of have wide legs,
Yeah.
because their tops are so big that like they kind of need to balance out and
Yeah,
stand up straight.
yeah, they needed to lower their center of gravity or else it would just keep
Yes.
falling down.
Yes, that's exactly it. And it's funny because they were all made out of the same molds. You can't, like, they're not going to spend the money to make a tiny Adam. So he was basically the same size as He-Man already. It just used his sword to like take off his clothes. But that's what they do in the movie, and it does give us the effect as much as it can.
Yeah.
But like Arturo said, just aesthetic wise, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, everything else looks so action figure and good and like it just exaggerated, that like, oh, he's kind of a normal guy. It does kind of like take the wind out of the sails a little bit, but like thankfully everything else is so genuine. I think that's
Yes.
the other thing too. Like, I don't think like us going in, Masters of the Universe, you're like, oh, it's a He-Man movie. Like we've seen a He-Man movie already, and Dolph Lundgren back in the 80s, and yeah, it was kind of faithful, but like it did its own thing, and like it did take it seriously, but it was also kind of goofy. So you think,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
like a
faithful to
modern,
Jace. Yeah.
yeah, and you think like a modern version, you're like, oh, so they're gonna make fun of it, they're gonna like take it down. It's like, oh, they kind of do, but like it's also very genuine. It's very like it feels like no, like a fan, like fans put this together, fans of He-Man, and fans kind of like, yeah, they made fun of the goofy stuff, but like it never feels like it's out of universe to make fun of it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, exactly, but it's the only way to go by it because it's this is based
Yeah,
off, an action figure, set pretty much, like, it was these movies based off toys, it's hard to get them off the ground because there is no real story behind this stuff.
yes,
Fortunately for
yeah,
He-Man, there was, a cartoon and several iterations of cartoons that they can, grab, like, information and details from here and there, but, ultimately, like, they stuck to their guns in terms of the action figures and why they're existing and how they all interact and everything. It's pretty much like watching the old school He-Man cartoons because they're all hanging out in Eternia doing these Eternia things. Like in the 80s version of Masters of the Universe, they took a lot of liberties in terms of the look and the
mhm.
actual storyline. You didn't spend a lot of time in Eternia. Eternia looked like a desert with caves. Like Eternia looked like it was a set of Starship Troopers when they have all the bugs in the caves, honestly.
Right.
And yeah, and then like you get into Skeletor's castle. It wasn't really Grayskull. So they took a lot of liberties, but here they made sure that they stuck true. Even Grayskull looks like the cartoon Grayskull. Like it's like when you buy a playset in Toys R Us back in the day, dude. It looks
Yeah.
exactly like that, and that was awesome. And again, it's tons of fan service, but I think it's fan service done the right way because they figured out a nice narrative, a nice simple narrative too, that wasn't
Yeah.
going to completely overtake the story or the toys. It wasn't trying to be more than it was, and that's what I appreciated a lot. The fact that they understood what the origins were and they weren't trying to make Dune out of this.
Yeah, yeah, it knows it's a light, like, Saturday morning cartoon
Yes.
fantasy, and it stays with that. Like, so Nicholas Galitzine, like, he is, Adam, and he's, when his attorney is attacked by Skeletor in the past, he's sent to Earth and with the sword, but he loses the sword for 15 years, and like basically tries forever to like find it and go back. And when he finds the sword 15 years later, he's reunited with his friend Tila, Camila Mendez, and like then that starts the adventure. Like he's on Earth for like the good chunk. That's the other thing. Like
Yeah,
that
that's
is
Act
the
1
issue.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, like he is on Earth for a good chunk, but then after that, he's in Eternia, and after he transforms into He-Man for the first time, he's kind of He-Man for like a good chunk of the movie,
Yeah.
outside of like one scene after that. Like it's it kind of gives you what you want, and I think that's the only issue with the story. Like Arturo said, it's that like it's long, and
Yeah.
yeah, that is something that weighs on this. It's like it is over 2 hours, and I think it's because they wanted to do so much, and because they kind of need to. That's the other unfortunate element of all this. Like it's like, if this doesn't hit, this might be the only one, right? But then
Yeah.
at the same time, they do kind of everything you'd want in a He-Man movie.
Yes. Agreed. I think they understood that, hey, it's like you said, Tex, we got one shot at this. Let's just
Yeah.
put everything that we think belongs in a Masters of the Universe movie in this movie because we don't know if we're going to get a second chance at this. And I think that's why we got so much. It is over 2 hours long. You do feel it. There are points of the movie where the action does slow down drastically and you kind of are
Yeah.
left with a lot of exposition and world building. But again, it's a different kind of world and they have to introduce all this stuff like we don't know it. Like they have to also acknowledge that there could be kids who don't know about the He-Man lore. So they
Right.
have to kind of build that. And I think the way they did it, that's why I kind of enjoyed this a lot more than I thought because I didn't know how they would attack the story, but I like the fact that they sent them to Earth, right? And I like the fact that they split them up. because his mother sends him through this portal with the sword of power, and they're like, hold on to this sword, and whatever you do, don't lose it. And the first thing that happens is that he gets detached from that. So for 15 years, he's been looking for this sword of power, and that's been his life. I kind of really like the fact that in on Earth, he's true to himself still. It's not like they're trying to show him with his new family, him trying
Yeah.
to like fit in properly, changing his story up. No, he was like, no, this is my dad. These are the people that I knew. I had a talking tiger. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was
And it is
Skeletor.
it is clever in that like it introduces the hilarious names for the He-Man toys
Love that.
through Adam. Like it's through Adam like remembering these guys like as a kid and giving him funny nicknames because he was a kid, like Ram Man, Fisto, like there's
Mecha
like
Neck,
other,
right?
yeah, Mechanic, and then there's stuff like Beast Man in this, there's Moss Man, there's basically like all the mans you can think of, and they kind of do just explain the goofy stuff by just being like, no, he was a kid, and it it's so like it's so wild seeing the kind of balance it has with all of this, right? Because
Yeah.
like Arturo said, because it sends him to Earth, it gives him that fish out of water thing, and it gives people that way back into this universe, because as Adam is being reintroduced, they're also being introduced to Adam, and you get that kind of mix out of that. You get that kind of hilarious kind of thrown together, oh, what did he call us, what did he call you, my name is what, and it's stuff like that. And the humor too, the humor is one thing where it's like not all the jokes land, I think too, right? Like there are a lot of jokes that just don't really hit the mark, but the odds are kind of better, right,
Yes.
than you would think.
100%. I agree. There are some jokes that fall a little flat, but there are a lot of jokes that actually kind of just land, especially for someone who knows about the lore of He-Man and the universe he came from. There's a nice little nod to the original Masters of the Universe where we get a cameo from Dolph Lundgren in the gym, and then you have Galetzin's character asking him for advice. Like it's like random thing. It's like you're asking some random dude in the gym for advice, which is hilarious. But that was like a nice little Easter egg and tongue in cheek nod to the past, the present, and the future of He-Man, which is really cool. It was a little too long, honestly. I think they could have clipped that a little bit, but I think it served its purpose because he brings that back in his speech. And then also, I
Yeah,
really dig how he was working human resources, and that helped him kind of talk to all these people and get them together.
yeah, because that's the other layer of this. Like, this is where Masters of the Universe, it is funny that it's a Mattel branded movie. Like, Mattel's fully going into this stuff. This is their second major attempt after Barbie, and it really is like a Barbie for boys, because Barbie was about like being a woman in the world and how much it could suck in a
Yeah.
lot of ways. And He-Man's kind of that too. It's kind of like it's the masculinity part of it all, where it's like the toxic masculinity. It's
Yeah.
the be more in touch with your emotions. Don't be just like a muscle-brained head who just rams into people. And like it's interesting, right? Like that's the thing where it's like it doesn't go as deep as Barbie. Barbie does, it is better at
Yes.
that balance too. It is better at balancing the its core messaging with its character work and its
Yeah.
writing. It's better written in terms of that. But He-Man is doing it, and that's the thing. Like it's more geared towards the goofy fun, and that's also something you can't really blame the movie for. Like like when these action figures on screen are doing action figure stuff, it looks great.
Yes. Like, for instance, a great example of what Tex is talking about right in the beginning of the movie, and the first like maybe 10 minutes or so, you get an awesome fight scene between Lockjaw and Man at Arms. And it was such a cartoony action
Yeah.
sequence that in my head, I was like, I can totally imagine myself just like, oh, with the action figures, just pounding them together, because it is such a good job with that scene to remind you, hey, there's going to be a bunch of action here, and then this is what you're going to expect. And honestly, they didn't disappoint when it came to the fight scenes, man. They were well choreographed, they were well shot, they looked really good. They knew where to put the CG money. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yes, there are some scenes, especially in the trailer. If you guys seen there's a scene where he's in this forest kind of thing, and it looks a little wonky. But that's few and far between,
Yeah.
which is honestly surprising to say, because I thought we were going to get a lot more of that egregious, green screen, blue screen kind of look. But we didn't. And I really like the fact that everything, there was a lot of practical sets here as well,
Yeah.
especially when it came to the Gray Skull, and fighting inside the palace and all that stuff. It was really cool. They definitely took advantage of the look the of the action figures to accentuate the all the action moves and the choreography, and they did a great job piecing everything together.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very big man fighting. Like that's the thing
yes,
too. It's like
yes,
every move does feel like it's weighted. Like especially when you get to like the final He-Man and Skeletor fight, there are a couple of shots in there where it gets indulgent in that kind of thing, but like it's kind of the point too, right? Where it's like it goes full cartoon, it
yeah,
goes full like yeah, He-Man's throwing a punch, so it would look like this. It would look action figure pose, right? And like it looks great. And
yes,
like yes, and so rounding out this review here, just want to give one final shout out to a thing that or to something I would like I kind of have to eat crow about too.
yes.
So
We both do,
Jared Leto's
Tex.
yeah, like so Jared Leto's in this movie as Skeletor, which was one of like the wildest things that it just didn't make sense at the time because you're like, oh, Jared Leto, he's just in movies, right? Like Tron Ares, the less said about Tron Ares, the
He's
better.
Morgan up, yo.
Yeah, he's Morbius. Like we all saw what happened there. It got to a point where we're like, stop putting this guy in movies. But they've kind of buried him in terms of like his involvement with this, right? Like if you didn't know he was Skeletor, you probably wouldn't know going in or like even going out because he's kind of the best thing in the movie.
Yeah, honestly, I definitely have to give him a lot of props because I don't know honestly the extent of his performance because we don't see any of Leto, but I
Yeah,
think that kind of worked in his favor, and that I think gave him this freedom to be this Skeletor character that
yeah,
we did not expect. He had a sense of humor about him. He had comedic timing. Tex brought up off air, a little peek under the sheet. He said, "Hey, it felt like he was the robot chicken Skeletor,
right.
and it's absolutely on point with that. You had that comedy, and you had it off the bat. It wasn't like it was just thrown at like there for a second. It's like no, he did it right during his introduction, his big introduction, and you're like, oh, okay, this is how we're gonna go with this. Okay, I dig it. And honestly, I'm dying to see the behind the scenes as to how he did his work because if that was him under there, then a lot of props to him because
Yeah,
as Tex said, he was literally the best part of this movie. If not for Skeletor and his performance and Leto's performance, I should say, this thing wouldn't have hit as hard as it did because Skeletor gets a lot of screen time and he
yeah.
takes advantage of every single second, Tex.
Yeah, like because Skeletor is just as important as He-Man. He is the other side of the coin. Like if you don't get Skeletor right, you don't get He-Man right. And that's been true since the cartoon. It's been true
Mhm.
since the Dolph Lundgren version. Like Frank Langella, like for all the, things you could say bad about that movie, you wouldn't say he was a bad Skeletor,
Even though he
right? Like
doesn't want to be credited, he thinks it's
yeah,
beneath him. He did a great job.
he did a great job, and that's credit to Skeletor as as a role in He-Man in that universe. And like it's just everything is so nailed. Even if I like you're not really fully in the He-Man mythos, like we're not either. Like Arturo and I aren't like He-Man fans outside of like the movie, right? Like we saw that old movie and then that was it. Like I wasn't clamoring for Masters of the Universe, but hey, now that it's here, dude, I
I'll take
mean,
another,
hey,
please.
yeah, like I kind of hope they do another one, right? Like I kind of hope they just make it. Like even if Amazon takes the hit on this, or because they're doing Voltron and they're shifting it on to streaming, and it's like I kind of just want them to try Masters of the Universe too. Like, I kind of want to see what that looks like. So with that being said, Arturo, let's get into it. Here's how we do things at the morgue. We have our scale of pay for it, which is go out to see a movie immediately, go pay to see it. There's wait for it, which is you can wait a while, you're not missing much. Wait till you can, it's more convenient to watch it. And then there's stay away from it, which is you don't need to see this at all. So I'll start us off here first, Arturo. And on our scale of pay for it, wait for it, or stay away from it for Masters of the Universe, I'm going to say wait for it. And on a number scale, I'm gonna say like it's about a 7 out of 10. Like it's like a, you know, it's a little long. It's a little long in the tooth. It has jokes that don't land, but on the other time, like it's a fun movie. Like, and I could definitely see it becoming like, you remember Dungeons and Dragons, like that Paramount movie
fun.
that happened. Yeah, it was a fun movie in theaters, but blew up on streaming. So like, I kind of imagine that here. Like it probably won't do well in theaters. Let's just say that straight off the bat. But like, it's probably going to be a hit on Prime. I can't lie.
Yeah, dude, that's a great point.
Yeah. So what say you, Arturo, on our scale? Pay for it, wait for it, stay away from it for Masters of the Universe.
You know what, Tex? I'm gonna have to go with a pay for it. An 8 out of 10 on this one. For those dads at home that are in our age range, I'm pretty sure you might want to see this in the movie theater. It looks really good, man. This is why I'm saying pay for it, because if you are a fan of He-Man and Masters of the Universe and action figures from the 80s, all that retro stuff, go see this on the big screen. It's bad enough that Amazon is throwing Voltron straight to VOD. So go catch this on the big screen while you can, because the visuals are there. The fights are there. It looks really good, especially when Skeletor and He-Man are going at it one-on-one at the end there. It is the final battle, and it looks awesome, man. That's why I say go pay for this thing. Don't be scared. It is a little bit long, so make sure you have your candy there for the middle of the movie, where it'll give you a nice little pick-me-up while you watch the exposition go down. But I definitely think this is a pay for it for all the He-Man fans and those dads at home in their late 30s, early 40s who grew up with this thing and actually have a real life He-Man universe on the screen, a real life to the T, He-Man universe, which is something we can't say from the 80s version, because that took a lot of our artistic liberties and it changed the whole color scheme of everything. But here, you look at an action figure, that's what you're getting on the screen. And that's what I love about this text.
Yeah, there's zero irony in this at all. Like, it's straight up He-Man Masters of the Universe movie, right?
Yep, absolutely. And I think that is why the buddies at home will enjoy this on the big screen. But also, I get it. If you want to wait till Amazon drops this on VOD, which I think, unfortunately, because of box office and how things work, it might be sooner rather than later. You will be able to enjoy this probably by the end of June, maybe, or even beginning of July.
Yeah, like, unless you're like Obsession taking over the box office as of the time we're recording this, like you're not going to get past your digital release date. They're not going to push it back just because you're doing so well.
No, like the budget was probably not 750K,
no, this one is like, no, Prime's like, we're going to make our money back eventually. Like, quicker, as soon as possible, please. Yeah.
But let us know, buddies at home, in the comments below, what you think about Masters of the Universe, what your experience with Masters of the Universe is. Have you seen the original 80s version? Have you only seen the cartoons? Did you collect the toys? Let us know in the comments below. And thank you so much for listening. This has been The Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. We are your hosts, Arturo Padilla, along with Mr. Nick Valdez. A big shout out goes to you guys out there for listening and for watching. We have all these episodes up on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcast streams. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that bell up there. That way you know when all these videos are dropping. A big shout out goes to Delvirus for all the artwork you've seen throughout the years. And last but not least, it's a scary world out there, especially with Skeletor hanging out there, but we are here to walk you through it.